everyone. This is Amy Cooper from Rise. Thank you for following this wonderful series featuring exceptional women in insurance. And we are celebrating Women's History Month. I am so happy to welcome here today Dana Applegate. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Amy. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited for this.
So, for those who don't know you, can you tell a little bit about your role, where you work?
Sure, yeah. Dana Applegate, Senior Vice President of Claims for Coaction Specialty Insurance, which is a privately held insurance company focused on excess and surplus lines across the board, auto liability, general liability, professional lines, et cetera. And I've been in the insurance industry, 28 years. So a pretty long time. And, excited to be a part of Women's History Month with Rise organization.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that is a great career. You have an amazing role. I'm sure like you've been very successful. So is there anything in your career history that you can point to, like a defining moment or something that you could attribute some of your success to?
So, I mean, I think there's definitely one specific defining moment that helped me. Not many people would have this, so I kind of have one in general and then a specific defining moment. So, the specific moment was I was in claims. I spent most of my career in claims, and I was actually asked to be a senior project manager for a significant corporate project for the company I was with at the time that was really going to reshape the way the entire North America organization was rooted from underwriting to claims. And so I actually happened to be on assignment in our London office at that time, and I really wanted to stay in London. So my inkling was to say no, and part of it was I didn't think of myself as a project manager. And I think that was actually my response, right? I don't think I'm a project manager. And the person, that was reaching out to me said, my entire personal style and the way that I dealt with things was very project management focused. And so I was a project manager. I didn't know it was their kind of response to me. And then they said, at a very senior executive level, I was personally requested for this project, and it would be, a really good career opportunity for me. And so I said yes. And in hindsight, I was looking at this saying, I'm in London right now, and they're asking me to go to Richmond, Virginia. Wasn't exactly an even trade, geography wise, but from a career development, it was really a wonderful opportunity. It really changed the way I looked at work and really kind of advanced myself in development and how I moved forward. So it was a true component of my success story. In general, I think defining moments are saying yes to opportunities that are presented. I think that's the principle that I have continued to live by in my career. And I think that even when you believe that it's not maybe the right fit for you, you can actually get something that will change your path or reshape your path or direct your path in a way that could be really beneficial. So be open to opportunities and say yes a lot.
That is excellent advice. That's a cool story. I'm not sure if I would have wanted to leave London either. So we were actually just chatting a little bit too about like, your personal life, what you've got going on tonight. But, obviously you've had a successful career and family life. Can you talk about how you maintain work-life balance or, I know, secret sauce, right?
Yeah, if I'm being totally candid, I don't think I have work-life balance. But I also think that the concept of work-life balance is a little outdated in today's world. And so I really like to think of it in terms of work-life attention, meaning like when I'm at work, I really try to minimize, non-work distractions, personal life distractions, and really focus and, on what I'm working on. It's not always easy, but that's what I strive for. And then I think conversely, when I'm, with my family, when I'm with my friends, I really try to have undivided attention to them and the situation and fully, enjoy the moments and the personal time, with loved ones. So it's really more of that attention thing for me than it is balance because, sometimes it's not a balance. Some weeks are, heavier in work and some weeks are, need to be heavier in personal things. And so I think it's more of, the quality of the time and how we focus our attention during that time than it is about kind of like a true, balance. Because look, it's hard, especially this, especially for women, right? Women's History Month, it's very challenging because I think there are a lot of expectations for women to be everything. Um, and, certainly many of us, have very demanding jobs, but we still carry the larger percentage of, the family, you know, work burden, if you will. And so, it can be very challenging. So it's also good to try to have a really good support system too, not just with family, but also with friends and, parents of, your kids' friends and things like that. So, I focus it more on where my attention is at that time.
Yeah, I actually really like that, being intentional and being present and just making sure that you're really in whatever it is. Yeah, I think the idea of trying to strike a balance, like insinuating equal, is just, yeah, that part's outdated.
Yeah.
So can you tell me, if you're going to pick a superpower, what your superpower would be?
Oh gosh. I mean, if I was going to pick like a superhero superpower, maybe like, flying or, traveling at the speed of sound or something along those lines, right? Get more done, get places quicker.
Go back
Um,
in time.
yeah. or potentially, replicate myself, right? Have another version of me on standby when I kind of when I'm a little drained. Um, but I think that, in a professional, you know, concept, it's really for me, I kind of often talk about being resilient. And, people throw around words sometimes and they don't always know what they mean. But for me, that means, your ability to withstand and recover from difficult or challenging conditions. And I think that was a key component that I took away from my project management experience throughout my career is, there's a lot of ebbs and flows, and there's high points and there's low points throughout your career and throughout your life, and being resilient to those things, being able to handle them, being able to recover from them, then gets you to the next level, gets you to the next place. So that I think that's the biggest quality that I would say is kind of my personal, professional superpower. And then, my other kind of quality that I like to focus on, I like to share is like the curiosity piece. We talk about that a lot in, the claims and litigation world, the commitment to lifelong learning and just being super curious about, what is around, I think is a superpower that not a lot of people either have or, kind of work on. And I think it's important, when you have those things to continue to work on them too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love both of those. Good superpowers. So, I mean, you're familiar with the Rise Mentorship program. We've talked about how mentorships played a role in your career. Can you tell us, just some examples, or maybe how you view mentorship?
Yeah, I think it's so important. Having a confidential mentor, which is really a key component of having a mentor, right? Having a confidential dialogue and exchange, with a particular person. It has so many benefits, right? It helps you diagnose issues. It helps you analyze trends, develop solutions, right? See things from somebody else's perspective and, maybe learn from somebody else's experience and their mistakes and failures along the way. And that's, what I definitely try to do as a mentor, not just with Rise, but, I have a lot of informal mentor relationships as well. And, it's sharing that information to add value to somebody else's career path in life. And I think it's so critical to have one. And, whether it's a formal one or an informal one. And I think that there's also a need to have multiple mentors, sometimes simultaneously, but certainly at different stages in your career. you need mentors of different backgrounds and different levels. And so I think it's really important to do that. And for me, I also try to look for, mentors on opposite sides of the scale, meaning that, I want to have a mentor that I'm kind of, looking up to and aspiring to, and getting kind of that level of advice. But at the same time, I also want to draw from some of kind of the younger audience, the greener audiences, because I feel like I get a lot of value from that as well. I think in every mentor mentee relationship that I have, I get just as much from the mentee, I think, as they get, from me as the mentor, because I'm seeing things through a completely different lens. And, that's refreshing and exciting for me as well.
Yeah, I think at Rise will actually name it and say it's reverse mentoring, but like just you being open to that sort of concept and learning from all sides is definitely, I mean, I could see why that's contributed a lot to your success. That's amazing. Awesome. So I guess I'll end with just a little asking you for some advice. If there's anything that you have done that has really helped with your, like a strategy for your professional development, personal development that you could share for others.
Um, so, everyone who works closely with me probably knows what I'm already going to say to this question before I say it, but it's ask a lot of questions. I describe it to people as having the curiosity of a 5-year old. And so it's, what is that about? Why is that? Where is that? How is that? It's just asking all of those questions to really put your puzzle pieces together, in life and in work. Also, it's, learning as much as you can about your industry. I think that's critical. And not just your industry, but if you want to pursue different facets of your industry, learning more about that. And not just through reading, although I do try to read as much as I can, but it's also in kind of, intentional and sometimes haphazard, interactions with people. You meet somebody and they say, "Oh, I'm an actuarial scientist." Ooh, what does that mean, right? And just asking those questions to learn more. How does that benefit, the industry that I'm in, the organization that I work for? And I think that's a really critical component to, strategizing for career success, is having a full appreciation and a holistic understanding of the industry that you're in. And the value that you place in that, as well as understanding the value of everybody else involved.
That is excellent advice. And actually, I think you had at some point recommended a book to me related to questions. I don't know if you want to share for it's Don't Ask Stupid Questions,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, is it what is it? Is it Wait What? Is that the name of the
Oh,
book?
wait, what? Yes, that is the one.
Yeah. I don't know if this is showing up, but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. We'll tag it in the comments when we post this if anyone wants to. I actually thought that book was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
So,
actually, so the funny thing is that about this, the interesting thing about that book is she still works with me today, but this was given to me, by someone who works for me, and she saw it in an airport, I think traveling one time. And, because again, people that work closely with me know that I like to ask a lot of questions. I encourage them to ask a lot of questions. She saw this, she bought it, she read it super quick, on her flight, and then, sent me, and I still have her post-it note inside the book, because she sent this to me, and I have, given this to people, sent this to people, because I just think it's such a quick read, but it really reinforces the benefits of asking questions to clarify things and clear up assumptions, because as humans we make a lot of assumptions, and we don't even understand all of our own biases, and it's just, it's intrinsic, right? It's shaped by our environment and our experiences. So I think, but asking those questions over and over again and not assuming is so critical to success, and knowing where to go and how to get there.
that's awesome. And yeah, thank you for the good share. And thank you so much for joining me today. This has been excellent, like amazing.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you. Very enjoyable. Excited that you're doing this and can't wait to see all of the other interviews.
Yeah, so for those of you watching, follow Rise Professionals for more interviews of exceptional women in insurance throughout Women's History Month. Thanks again.
Thanks, Amy.